And by the way, welcome. I believe this is our first in-person. Yes. And how long? 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Since the last.
So isn't this exciting? And I really, Zoom meetings are not easy to run at all. So we've called the order and chairperson or Madam Secretary from Sherwood.
Notice is posted according to the statutory requirements last Friday.
Very good. All right. Cookie here. Roger. Steve there.
I'm here.
I'm here. Shannon.
Here.
Steve.
Here.
Dick.
Here. Okay, Mike.
Jenny.
Here.
George. Jamie.
Here.
Okay. Monica. Here. Claire's not here. Tammy. Here. Debbie. Here. Barbara. Here. Sue Downs. Here. And John, are you on? John West?
I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, welcome. Okay, good. Okay. One thing I want to say, I'm very going to see the letters and papers about all the work that our committees have done on the so I would call those operations manual. Yes, they were very confusing, and not just because there was a lot of duplication and a lot of it was the way they were collated was a problem. So I talked to Claire, and my suggestion would be just throw those away. By the middle of this week, we're going to sit. It's simply a collation problem, the way they were put together, duplication of things. So we're going to fix that this week. We'll probably have them back to you by the end of this week. So we have plenty of time to look at them. They will not be. We'll take care of the duplication. So don't even worry about it. Something you put in a lot of time. Pam did. I'm sorry, but I didn't have any way to get to you in the meantime. I could have, but I didn't look at it until yesterday morning, and that's when I talked to Claire. So just put them on the side and say, you got a head start at who's looking at duplication. They just weren't collated right, but we'll fix them and get them to you by the end. Okay, so take that off of the agenda. Thank you very much.
Is the sound system not working?
The minutes.
Is the sound system working?
Look over the minutes from our last meeting. With that in mind, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
So moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I think on the second set, notice.
Where's this now?
The very beginning, where the people's notice is, John, it says November 10th, instead of December.
15th, right?
C, yes, you're right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Excuse me, is the sound system working?
No,
Okay,
we'll have to chat. It's not working.
yeah, please speak up.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Any other discussion on the minutes? So with that in mind, are we all in favor of those changes? Okay, all opposed? Nobody, so that means everybody's in favor. We'll accept the minutes with that one small change. All right, next thing. John, will you take over the financial things? Oh, is he here, John?
John West here. John, are you prepared, John?
I am as prepared as a one-eyed guy can be. We have some variances in regards to our balance sheets here this week or this month. This is the December 31st of 21, so I think it's an important one. But as you know, our fiscal year goes through March. I think it is March through March.
No,
And
come on, John, 31st.
when does it? First of
Calendar year.
Calendar year.
Calendar year.
year, okay. Well, in regards to our sources, we have more income than we did last year, and that's due to the Christmas fund, which, by the way, I will ask that question later on, but we're ahead about $12,000 over our budget. Administrative, we had an increase due to the, excuse me, insurance premiums going up. And so we're over budget there by approximately $22,000, which we were aware of and I believe is taken care of in the new budget that's coming up. In regards to the grounds, we are under budget due to the fact that we just purchased mulch and it didn't show up in this particular financial statement, which is in December. Looks like they were purchased in January. So, and we use less employee hours this year during that period of time. The number 4 is a building. We're over budget there due to the renovation and electrical work that's being done in the area and some materials that have been bought. All these things have been discussed because of emergency repairs is what they are. In regards to the over budget in the pool and spa area, it's due to leaks. And that's for about $4,000. And last but not least, and most important of all, as far as we are concerned as owners, is we are under budget on our utilities by $29,000. And that's due to conservative efforts by our different committees, et cetera, and our different owners. So all in all as well, as far as the year is concerned, we have expended approximately $243,000 from our reserve fund based on the planned activities that we have, and these have gone to road repair and parking lot repair, et cetera, et cetera. We still have a cable or a balance from our cable contract of about $8,000 left. So we're doing a good job conserving that and using it in emergency situations. Any questions?
Question, please. Could you please, I don't understand on number 5, what do we use for inspection purposes? What exactly, what is that?
That was the security inspection earlier in the year when we were bringing them in an hour early for the pools and the tennis court.
Okay, so that's not going on anymore,
No,
right?
that's
That's stopped.
stopped, yeah.
Okay.
No.
thank you.
Sorry, I didn't explain that to you, Sue, and that's a good one. Okay, anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes,
Did you say that spent out of our surplus account or reserve account? Should be reserves, not surplus.
did I say that? I am so sorry. Reserve account, reading two different things here. The 243,000 came out of our reserve account, and the surplus account has nothing to do with that. I was looking at the funds that we got when we made our cable contract with the cable company.
Okay, thanks, John.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, the only addition, John, if I will, if you may,
Steve, please.
is the operating fund surplus, which of course will be important as we go into next year. The total at the end of the year was $114,418. As you know, we plan to take $30,000 again to somewhat offset expenses in the next year. So we'll have to monitor it very closely and hopefully maybe we overshot a little bit of our insurance because I know the board wants to keep that figure at about 100,000. So we'll be very watchful of expenses, especially once we know the exact insurance cost. It may help us to get back up to that $130,000.
Thank you, John. That's great. Great information.
Okay, units with, legal.
Okay, we have units with, 2 units right now with legal. Last month we had 3. The owner that was in arrears the last time paid up, and so that's taken care of. Currently, unit 364, as you know, all owners, both owners have passed. It's a mortgage, it's a reverse mortgage with a bank. That bank is foreclosing. Once they foreclose, we will get 1 year's of back dues. So we will not get all of our money there if they close without a deed in lieu. If they close with a deed in lieu, we get it all, but they know better than that, so they won't. The other unit, 762, we are foreclosing on due to non-payment of fees and to the repair work we had to do to save the building from any mold or mildew. That's moving along, and as soon as we get a date for foreclosure, we'll let you know. So far, there doesn't seem to be a mortgage on it. So I imagine there'll be all kinds of people trying to buy this unit when it goes to foreclosure, because there's those people that do that for a living.
Right.
We are owed currently $13,477, but we'll have to check with the attorney, but I don't see why we can't outbid anybody, even if we pay $150,000 for it, because we're paying ourselves. And then we get to fix it and sell it and make the revenue. That would be the way that we could do it. So that's what we're looking to plan to do.
And John, do we have a committee that's involved with the process of, number one, deciding what we're going to do and working on how extensive the process will be?
Well, do we have a committee? No, but I have direct communication with our attorney, who's going to advise us on which way to do it.
Okay, excellent. I was thinking also in regards to just having some information in regards to how this thing happens and what we should do. But also, as we go in there, are we going to put a budget on how much we spend in there, et cetera, et cetera?
I think it's all a little premature right now because, we got to get the unit first. But
Okay.
if in fact we take it for what is owed, obviously it has a value of 170 or to 225 or even higher. It has been renovated, although it's barren now. So, I mean, it could be very, very beneficial to the association to refund reimburse its operation fund. So, we're going to try our best to take it when we can.
Excellent.
Haven't we done these before, John?
Yes, we've done 2 before, but we've never ended up having to bid for it. We've done it in different ways.
Anything else on this legal issue? Want to go over, John? Anything else?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Bill, any other questions? Legal issues, are all okay with them?
Claire's not here to ask.
Pardon me?
Claire's not here to ask.
Okay, to old business. So we're going on to discuss the second floor entrance slab.
Okay, as been said in the last few meetings, 37 have been completed. We're about to commence again, starting the project probably the last week in January, and we anticipate to get maybe 20 or 22 done this year. Cost is going to be somewhat less, appreciably less, because we're using a different topping. And once we get one of those done, we'll see how much more money we can save over last year.
Great. The next one is the operations manual gated employee, and we're marking that off until the next meeting. Go over that again. Identification sign on the entranceway to Wildewood Springs off of Cortez.
Okay, as you recall, or you may know and seen, as you drive in, our signs have been deteriorated in front. There's a couple holes in them. They're cracked. They're weather beaten, and we'd gone to a sign company to get an idea of what the cost would be, and they've kind of failed us by promising to have something for this meeting and not having something. But as I said, I noticed something coming in the other entrance, the Wildewood 2 entrance. Their sign has been upgraded over the years, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, but it's still been upgraded over what we have. So Steve and I took a ride down there and took a look at it, and he agreed that, hey, it looks pretty good. And then Peter, who's been the emphasis saying that we really need to have a sign, he and I went down and took a look at it, and what they've done there, they've taken theirs, they've taken an opaque board, much like the surface of this table, and put the letters on it, Wildwood Springs, and it looks nice, functional, and not real expensive. It's Steve's idea would be to use plexiglass instead of an opaque board as the background, and because we have power there, we could put lights inside it if we want, if it doesn't turn to look out like a movie marquee or something like that. That's what we have to be careful about. So we can do it one of each ways, but we can do it in-house by buying the panels and obviously installing them. The lettering can be bought at Hobby Lobby and painted our brown. And so when we get through, costs will be under $1,000, where they're talking about 4 or 5 if you get a new sign with new plexiglass and everything like that. So we can do it in-house if you'd like us to proceed. We can do it with our employees.
Any comments, board? I know sounds good to me, comments, yes.
John, I'm a little bit ahead of the game, I realize, but will we use the current size? Is that-
Everything,
Yeah.
yeah, the frame will be used. The panel will be cut to exact size, so that'll fit in there. The only question we have right now is whether have it opaque with white with the brown letters on it, or do you want it with the plexiglass light inside, still with a brown letter?
With the,
Well, frosted plexiglass, yeah.
with the lighting on the inside highlighted better than what we've got currently, because it's hard to see that.
Yeah, it is perfect. I probably would, but we can put it in there, and if we don't like it, we can always take it out and put something in its time. But we should try that way, maybe.
Yeah.
Then,
That was my question. Put a backlight in it.
yeah,
Shine it on the inside or still spot.
well, we do both.
Dan's right. Unless you know it's there, sometimes it's hard to see.
So we can save a lot of money, do it in-house, and make it look pretty decent, I think.
I think better than it looks now.
Oh, now,
Any other comments? Okay, good. Okay, cluster advisor volunteer. What?
did we decide we want to do it?
In-house.
In-house.
Oh, yeah, no, but with the plexiglass.
Yeah, and then if you don't like it, we're gonna take it out.
Or we just turn off the light.
Incidentally, Sue,
Yes,
we're talking about the lady in your,
yes.
she said yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great.
Which are the ones that we don't?
And then we're still looking for some,
All of Mill.
yeah, Paula Mel, yeah, we're still looking for N and T. Advisors, we have cluster advisors for all clusters except N and T. Recently, we Beth Nicholson agreed to take over R, and Paula Miller in I guess Y has agreed to be the chairman. So that's good. We've made progress.
But we gotta get,
And two.
okay. Yes, I got, who is for people in N and
Well, that would be George and Tammy, maybe Debbie.
see. And George, there's the hot seat. George and Dan,
Well, it could be both,
Oh,
like Monica is in that encounter.
And Monica,
But,
you're in the hot seat.
Break time's over,
Okay, yeah, mine was advised.
you're in country.
but you're in palm tree. It's a palm tree advisor that we need.
Which who are in is one of our, is our biggest cluster.
Yeah.
I'm
You
just
still are
saying that
missing two.
you can find somebody.
Okay, if you know somebody,
I
we're,
do.
we're putting something up on the bulletin board too.
She does, she does.
You do?
Oh,
Yeah,
good. That would be
Jump on.
I didn't hear what you said, Debbie.
If I'm,
That's right, that's right. So we're checking into Debbie's status. I think she may have reached her maximum amount of election terms.
Anyway, we're hoping that we can have a meeting, now that we have a chairperson at least next month, because we really should get people I represent going here. There's a lot of things that while we need them. They're an important part of what goes on in our lives, right? So hopefully we can get that. Okay, holiday collection fund status, John.
Okay, I'm very, very happy to announce, and there will be a last email going out and posting on the bulletin boards. The hourly employees received each $1,600 this year. So you are all very, very generous, and it was appreciated by those employees very, very much.
Okay.
Actually, it could get confusing, and I don't want to confuse anything or go back, John, if you're listening, when you talked about the excess income coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about $16,000 that we gave the employees. And why isn't the extra income more than that? It's only the checks, because there was a lot of cash that came in. So we actually had about $3,000 worth of extra incoming coming in. And then we had about $8,000 worth of checks toward the fund. That's how that worked out. Have I confused everything?
Do we, John?
So we we're actually gonna
Well-
pay taxes on that money?
If I can refer you back to John's statement about extra income on the second page of the document, it said that our variance for the year, we brought in $11,327.44 more than budget. We actually, if we took away the holiday fund, because you have to run it through the books, that would be about 2,300 with 8,000 of the fund. And why isn't it $16,000? Because a lot of it was cash, and the cash didn't get run through the books. It went right to the employees.
So are they paying taxes on it in place?
No.
Did they get any money?
No.
No, of course not.
Okay, that's all I want. Okay, that's all I want.
No, they got, yeah, that's right.
Okay,
No tax.
the next item, I think that's a vote, but Tony's is a problem. When we talk about this flooring on the top units, and that's going to, Steve's going to address us to talk about this, and only because you're changing documents, or when you're changing the documents, that goes to the residents for a vote. So today, you're gonna have to vote on whether or not you want to take this when we have the meeting, the residents meeting. And if it goes to them and we're gonna change the documents, if you decide to do that board, then that has to be a vote that we take today. And it's kind of important that we give this to the residents, because that's their decision whether or not they want that type of work in on the top floor. So it's important what Steve says, those of you on the board, it really should residents, in my opinion. If we're gonna give it to them, this is the point that take the vote to give it to residents, and it goes on the agenda for them to give vote at their meeting. So I'm gonna turn this over to Steve to tell us why it's important that this take place. Remember, changing the documents, it's kind of a big thing. When we do that, we like to do it once a year because you gotta pay the attorney to do it.
Frank's not up.
Okay, well, the
He's
committee,
traveling.
That's right,
checked into it a lot. And the committee, in our committee meeting, we had a vote with all the members and we decided that we wanted to put it to the board to change it, to do away with any kind of hard surface in the living room, the dining room, and the bedroom. Because every time we've had it done, most part, the ones that John and I know, you know, downstairs has just gone through the ceiling. It's been, you know, we're the ones that have to go and try to talk to them about it, John. And so that's what was been put forth. We had a guy come in, last committee meeting and talked about new surfaces, new paddings that seem to be better. But I talked to one flooring company, reputable one down here in Cortez, and had a guy in there, one of the owners, said that with a 4-inch slab, there is no way that you can get a 71 rating. I bet, you know, others have brought us stuff saying it is a 71 rating. Well, the 71 rating, the way it was rated is on an 8-inch slab, not a 4-inch. This guy who came in made some arguments and talked about the distance between the floors and how because of the 4-inch, the rating went down so much, but then supposedly it comes back. I personally never heard him say, and respond, I called him, left him a message. Kept relating a lot of stuff, but I didn't hear him say that it's actually rated at 71. I'd really like to see something print that says that. I don't think but we've just had so many troubles with it. And then there are some people that have said that they don't even know somebody's upstairs. So I think it depends on the person downstairs, but in the long term, I mean, we gotta look out for people who live downstairs. And if it's that annoying, and it's not really the weight sound, it's tapping.
There's a dog up there.
And there's a dog up there. But that's, you know, we got people go one way, people go the other way, but
How many units do we have upstairs?
141.
141 units upstairs.
about 20%.
So out of that, you don't have any idea how many are unhappy?
No, what we do know is those that have issues seem to have severe issues. There's been some communication coming in last couple of days from somebody solicited to send in. They say that there's been no issue and they've lived here 5 years and never heard anybody upstairs. So like Steve said, there's gonna be a, you know, all depends on who's upstairs, how they're upstairs, downstairs. Do they hear it? Do they not hear it? It seems from the conversations I've had with the majority of people that, you know, you're looking at two freedoms. You're looking at the freedom of noise coming down or the freedom of somebody to use and using their unit what they want. And so those things have to be weighed. And I think that's why it should at least go to the people.
And I agree. People, it should go to the people and they should make. Yes, Chris.
I would disagree. I think that this is a complex issue, and Steve and his committee have done a good job of trying to take a good look at it, but I'm not sure that it's ready to be put to the owners at this point. You have two different flooring guys that have differences of opinion. Although Steve didn't hear it, I went back. There's a recording of the building committee meeting last Wednesday. And the gentleman specifically said that the carpeting and the vinyl flooring with the underlayment were equal in sound value. So it's real clear. If you want to take a look at that recording, I would.
71. They could be equal.
Yeah, that's what he said. So I think it's too early
And it's too complex an issue to put out there for a vote at this point. If you remember, several years ago, the board was threatened with a lawsuit about carpeting, and she had a doctor's, statement that she couldn't have carpeting, and the board agreed to let her put hardwood flooring in. And
Yes, we did.
yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. Marie.
So, in my opinion,
It was agreed with the fact that she had to take it out when she left, which she did.
in my opinion, we have the issue, the way it is right now, the rule states that you can have carpeting, and the only exception to the carpeting would be some sort of a vinyl flooring that had this soundproof backing underneath it, and it has to be approved by John. So I don't know why we want to take that away. If the two are equal, why do we want to eliminate one of them and make it more difficult on the upstairs owners?
Well, I think you have a good point, because remember, until this and there, we've not had the impression that they were used 71%. This is the first time, at least I think the rest of us have heard that they're equal. So it's a different opinion now. So now we have to be-
That's what I'm saying. There's more than one opinion out there. The other thing, I have a neighbor that I asked, they put in an approved flooring that John approved, and the downstairs people said they don't even know they're there. They don't hear anything. So I don't think it's universal that everybody that has put in this flooring has issues with the people downstairs.
Yes.
I go back about 12 years, since I was on the covenants committee, about 12 years ago, 3 years. And what we're going through now is exactly what we went through about 12 years ago. There were issues about the flooring upstairs and noise. So the then manager, I forgot his name, did some research and found out that we could say certain underlayments. So we approved that and we went ahead. Didn't do any good. Down the road, we have found out through the work that Steve has been doing in that committee, that information was inaccurate. And so here we are faced 10 or 12 years later with basically the same issue. I don't think that we're talking about comparability, that we could be facing this issue again 3 or 4 years. Someone else said it really didn't work and it wasn't as good as you said. I think we have to put this to rest, and when you're ready for a motion.
Yes.
I've been to most of the building committee meetings, and the whole point of all this is, it's in the documents right now that flooring has to be approved by the committee and or John. And our objective here is just to make it unequivocal that it is not allowed. And until somebody can show in the future that it is something that can be demonstrably the same, that we just want to be unequivocal and say it's not allowed. So that every time somebody wants to put it in, buys upstairs, reads through the document, sees that it's in the documents that they can't have it, and then they put forth to the building committee and or John that we deny everything anyway. We might as well just make it unequivocal.
Having lived downstairs, downstairs 2 places. Whether you hear it or not downstairs depends on how you hear it. My husband doesn't hear anything. And I hear everything. And even though they have carpeting upstairs, bedrooms, I can still hear it. The other unit we lived in, same thing. But Bill's almost totally deaf, so. And it makes, and the other people that I know that had the flooring approved, they had people that lived downstairs, both of them were deaf. So the downstairs people, it depends on how good they're doing. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
Okay,
Yes, that's it.
are there any other comments from the board? Yes.
Yes. My question is this, the objective here is supposedly somebody's freedom to put in a flooring, but the one thing that happens to the downstairs unit, the moment somebody puts in a floor that's wood or whatever, is it's devalued and devalued considerably. And it's done for that person and for all eternity that it's on there. And that's why we discussed this back whatever amount of years ago, that it should not have any question whatsoever. No wooden floors up above, because for whether or not one person or 50 people, we still have 500 that say, no, it makes it too difficult to live in a box that's being pounded on by feet on a continuous basis. So my point comes down to this is that we should have done it before and we should do it now. And that is vote on this as a no-go period. No wooden floors up above and any other places except perhaps the kitchen and in that front hallway. And get it over with, done with, so we don't have any of these people saying, well, I have my rights and you're discriminating against me and or whatever, or I've got the proper flooring to meet number 71. The bottom line, whatever it is, it doesn't do what we want to do, and that's maintain the value of the living unit below it.
I'd like to say one thing, John, not to interrupt you, but remember, we are not voting on that today. We are voting on whether or not to send this to the residents. They will make the decision, not the board. And it's not 500 units you're talking about, you're really talking about 141, because those are the people downstairs that are being inconvenienced. So just for clarification, board, you're not voting on this today. You are voting to give this to the residents to make the final decision. And that's going to be up to them.
And that's exactly what I want to do. I think the final resolution should be right now from the residents, the 554 or whatever it is.
Somebody just go over what exactly are you asking the residents to? Or change?
As I understand it, we will be asking the attorney to write an amendment to the declaration that would prohibit hard surface flooring in upstairs other than in the kitchen, bedrooms and whatnot.
But isn't that what the current regulation says?
No, it doesn't. What I was going to say, and I don't mean to interrupt, Tammy, do you want to speak first? What I was going to say before John spoke was what we have is convoluted at best. Okay, it says we have to get to a 71 or 72 STP, STC, but it's based on, as we found out the other day in building committee meeting, so many inches of slab and so many of this. We were operating under the assumption that there was 4-inch slab. Now we found out it's a 2-inch slab. So we got 2 inches of concrete, but 2 inches of steel. So there really is a 4-inch something there. Then there's a space in between. So the way it's written now, and God knows how it got there, Dick, you know, you got the best history on it. It's not correct. It's impossible to get to a 71 or 72 anyway whatsoever. It's impossible. The expert that came in said, with your slab and your size, there's no way you're ever going to get to a 71, no matter what you put up there. And what he did say, and what Chris was saying, is that carpeting today with our slabs make about 557, and this type of material is about 57 too. But he did agree the fact that walking like this, pets like that, carpeting abates it where the hard surface does. So I mean, there's so many.
That's what they're complaining.
Yeah.
Pets, and then they're just capping them. Shoot, walk. Yeah,
So-
shoot, leather shoot.
If the owners vote to change it, if the owners did vote to change it, then it would probably be more in order of what we need. go forward. If they don't vote to change it, we're probably gonna have to modify it some way, because we can't do it. I mean, anybody comes in and says, okay, I got 72, they can't prove it. We can't prove it. And they said it's about $35,000 to test it, to actually prove what you have there. And we're certainly not gonna spend $35,000 to test an STC. It says you have to put microphones in between each piece. Very, very.
I think it is a very complex issue. And I'm not sure that we can explain it very well to the owners. The gentleman from Georgia Carpet World said that even though you have 2 inches of concrete, the 10 inches of dead air space you have below that is the equivalent of 16 inches of concrete. So I really think that right now, the difference between carpeting and vinyl, not wood, John, vinyl, with an underlayment are equal. So why eliminate one of
Yes. Most of the new carpets are hypoallergenic.
Yes, they are.
So when people say they're allergic to the carpeting, that is not the case.
Well, I know that.
So, leave the carpeting.
Yes, I'm open to the audience.
Yeah.
If everybody doesn't mind, because I really want to discuss this, yes. Please identify yourself.
My name is Jan Marlette. I was wondering, when we have that popcorn balcony ceiling? That was supposed to be for soundproofing. Is it less soundproof because people take that out?
I don't know.
It could be. But don't forget, it's only,
I know
Quarter
when
inch.
people are remodeling, they're scraping that off, so yeah, I was wondering if that makes a difference.
good.
That's the point. Yes,
It's Anne Lafayette, and I just wondered if maybe this is just something, just condo-like, because I hear what them saying, I have those ears, I hear all the water running, I hear the bathroom flush, I actually hear the next door neighbors, and I'm not here. And it's back, and I know how long then it goes off, and so there's always noise with condos, and so, that's another issue that you get.
yeah, that was. It's a very confusing issue, and this is, I think the people who will make the final decision on this, if we decide to send it to the owners, will be probably the owners who live below the 141 condominium. They will be the ones that make the deciding vote. The other ones who will probably say, makes no difference to me. But they are the ones that are gonna make the decision. And I mean, we can all talk about it, but those are the people, depending how inconvenienced they are today or not, how well they hear and how well they don't hear. They will be the ones that will make the decision. But yes.
You have as many owners upstairs as you do downstairs. So the people upstairs may say, we don't want you to limit it.
The ones downstairs will make.
Chris, do you have an upstairs unit or a downstairs unit?
Pardon?
Do you have a downstairs unit?
We have a villa.
Well.
No, I understand what you're saying, Pam. My point is this, it's a complex issue. I would say that the building committee may need to take another look at it before you recommend it going to the owners.
Excellent point. Chris, one quick question. You said something that there is no measurement or tool.
Wait a minute, John.
There's no tool of measurement.
Wait a minute, John.
I'm sorry.
Yes, my question is, if they vote on this, the people who have the upstairs unit now, will they have to go? So they're grandfathered, that's my question.
Yes.
Okay. This will affect duplex. That's what I was.
No, I don't think so.
It's a joke.
Okay, John West?
John, go ahead.
My question is since we have no means of measuring this, nor do we have a measurement that is stuck in, on the wall that tells us that it's too loud or or soft enough, how are we even going to measure this thing, whether or not it's right or wrong?
I think we're past that, John.
Yeah,
Well,
the-
our,
The
here's the
gentleman
other-
from Georgia Carpet World agreed to put in a floor for us if we wanted to test it out.
Is that right? I think we should know that.
well, the other question is do we all vote on this? We got 550 some odd units and we've only got 100 and some odd that have the problem. And to have the uppers vote and have the same amount of voting power as the lowers is ridiculous because they don't have any means of suffering through what supposedly is happening on the bottom.
John, statute requires all owners to vote. It doesn't require them to vote. They suggest they vote, but by rights, everybody has a vote.
Right, our documents, everybody votes. But I do wish that we would have known all of these things prior to today. Yes, I think we should have known. I think we should have known that they offered flooring in.
We don't have time to,
No, but it would have been nice to know.
Yeah, well, it probably was gonna come up yet, but I mean, yes, he said he would put one living room in.
Would have been nice to know.
But who gets it?
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
he just told us last week. Yeah,
it would have been nice to know. We're still gonna do the vote, but it would have been nice to know everything before we came out.
well, hopefully we do now. I mean,
Now,
we
we're taking the vote now, whether or not.
well, but I mean, now, no, if that changes someone's mind, well, we can take them up on it, but who gets the floor?
That's easy, I would just.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, Debbie gets the floor, right?
It's just one of those things that I have to tell you, that would have been nice to know, period. I don't know how many else.
You could have come to the meeting.
No. We maybe just forgot, it wasn't left out on purpose.
Okay, any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I know what the statute is, but it's only fair that people who are upstairs and downstairs level have a dog in this fight. The rest of us who have villas don't. I mean, no offense, I know the statute saying we all have to vote on it, but it's not fair that someone who has a villa,
Good point.
has a vote in it.
But everybody's governed by the
I know,
documents.
I know, I
I-
understand
So
that.
there's no way we can get around that?
There's no such thing as fair sometimes. It's like when you live in a condo, you lose certain rights. And that's one of them.
Everything is all.
You know, I think she has a really valid point, though, it doesn't affect anybody else.
I feel sorry because people who have villas could actually sway because they don't exactly fight. I mean, I know what you're saying and it's all for one for all, but this is living.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's
you
way
should check
with
with
it.
the attorney to see if we can.
It's nice to bemoan the fact. It's nice to say it's not fair, but that's condo. Condo's not fair. I mean, it's apportioned in the documents. The documents, you gotta live by the documents.
Excuse me, I'm
She
done
made a
with
good
that.
point.
Yes. Hi, Collins Smith, 370. I
Yes,
agree with Tammy. We're gonna ask the lawyer to do this. You don't ask them if we can, you ask them how we can. That's what you pay.
Well, but it's in the statute, it's in the Florida statute, so we really don't
You read
have,
it yourself and save the lawyer's fee.
no. They can come back, someone can come back and attack us, if we didn't follow.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta-
let's figure it's a different thing to do. We've got
Yes, sir.
20 minutes, and nothing said.
I live in 705 on the bottom, and, I don't have any issues, but I know that people have had issues with 10-year-old grandchildren living with them for a couple of years, or whatever, made a difference. I would lean towards having, how many board members do you have, 15? I would lean to have 15 educated board members make a decision on something like that, compared to the other people that are not in this room, that I think if they vote, you're gonna have to be accountable for educating them on what really is 71 and 72 and this and noise or not noise. They'll want to be educated on what am I voting on. It's not as simple as noise or not noise. It's a little bit bigger than that.
You know what happens, and I know where you're coming from, what happens is that the board has voted on this. And we're right back to this again, because until the owners decide, and they fix the documents every couple of years, It comes back. So the board has voted on these things before, but it comes back and back and back till it gets into your documents and then it says, and in order to change the documents, gotta go. Unfortunately,
To amend the declaration of condominium, you have to have 60% of a duly quorumed owners meeting, okay? So the most we usually get, and this might bring out more or less, but in the 7 years I've been here, 8 years almost, the most we've ever gotten is 290 people at an annual meeting. So you need 60% of 300, say, to round it off. That's 180 people. Did I do that right? I don't know.
Sounds right.
Yeah, 100, you need a minimum of 180 votes to change the documents. So you can't just have a 15-member board, or you can't just have a segment of people
change the document.
to change the documents.
And that's why we always keep
yeah.
getting in trouble, because you can say that, but you can't, that, and it keeps coming back. Unfortunately. No, you're not. Yes.
If it keeps coming back, they can stop it and say we've already decided. But I know, but how many owners does it take to keep circling the drain?
Robert's rules state that anyone who voted on the positive side, a negative side before can bring it back up. No, positive side. So if anyone here, way back when, voted to, they can vote now to send it to an owner vote.
But is it coming from the board or is it coming from just an owner that has this complaint?
It comes from an owner who has a complaint, then it goes to the committee. And then the committee makes a recommendation to the board, and then the board makes a recommendation to put it on.
To the resident.
To the resident.
Are we talking about something on one?
No, it wasn't one,
Is it Becky?
yes.
I sent it on the. As well, and the gentleman. Wasn't, he wanted to do. Wasn't that a new material?
This material here, this is what he says that this type of material with a laminate with another base.
This clean.
Well, first this queen, but then he did to those people who say you don't get any moisture from visqueen. He did say that there would be visqueen moisture, but it's only on the lower units. So we're not visqueen upstairs doesn't mean anything. But it would be this, and it would be a laminate with the backing on the laminate that he says probably in our community would give us a 57, which he says what carpet gives.
Okay. Let me bring something. I'm just feeling this, and I'm gonna ask you. We can either take this to the board this year, vote on the document, or we could change this and maybe say, give us 1 year to study, 1 more year. And wait until, excuse me, to take it to the residents next year. I do think it should ultimately go to the residents, one way or another. But maybe you need another year to look at some of these things that have been brought up. I mean, I think there are some valid things here that maybe the board should look at. Maybe we should have them come in and do a unit. I think that gentleman back there who lives with those grandkids above him for all those years would be a great person to do his unit. So I'm saying,
What's
you know,
that, Mary
the
Lou?
one thing that I think is really
Mary Lou?
important. I don't think.
Does she want to buy the floor?
to do anything. I mean, nothing's gonna, you don't have to rush to make a bad decision. So you certainly could say, board, let's wait for 1 year and do a study, a real study, and don't eliminate, tell us everything that's going on, rather than do it this year. But I think that's a choice that is up to the board, but you do have that choice. You don't have to say, I have to make a decision now.
I mean, I think it's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, so why do we have to do that? Yes, I'm sorry.
well, they deny permissions all the time. So keep denying permission.
Well, that would be the next question, when you all take a vote, because what we have right now is something that almost can't be attained. But if people read it, they say, well, this is what I gotta get. And we can't say they're not getting it, because we can't measure it, because we don't want to spend $35,000.
Yeah, but you've been successful in denying it. I mean, I know you have, I know in cases, and you can say it's something the board's working on. I know it's doable.
Right.
It's not ideal,
We have
but
been
it's
successful.
also not ideal to make a decision that you're not sure of.
Don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is that we've been fortunate enough to have had people who put hard flooring all the way through. We had 3 taken out.
Yeah.
We had 3 because they went throughout everything, and it was a bad situation. One did tile, just think tile everywhere. It was really bad, okay? So they had to tear it out. But what I'm saying is, what was I saying? No. That's right. No.
It's a risk, you're right, it's a risk.
Yeah. It's a tough situation either way, no question about it. Should we wait? Can we wait? Of course we can wait. But what do we do in the interim? Do we
You know what you've
continue?
been doing, John?
I know what I was gonna say. I have one owner who told me he's putting it in.
Well, they-
He's putting it in. Okay, and theoretically, we can't really stop him. But, you know, but
I heard what Steve said, I heard.
Yeah. so, I mean, what I'm trying to say is the owners that come in and asked us, we've explained the situation to them, and they've understood, and they know that there's a migration sound problem, and they decided against it. But now we have somebody who told me it's gonna go in the next month. Because he says the documents haven't been changed, and he's right, the documents couldn't even be changed in the next month.
Right.
So we're gonna get 2.
So, you know, even that, it's a worst scenario, just think about this. If this owner has come in and said, I'm doing it no matter what. Our documents aren't gonna be changed, he can do it right now in the next month, because they're not gonna be changed anyway. These documents aren't going out to the residents until March. And then in March, remember, he's gotta go to the attorney, he's gotta fix them, they gotta be filed. So it's gonna be what, probably April before it's changed?
We have to easily April, May.
Easily, maybe May. So guess what? Even if you decide to do it today because one owner has intimidated us and said he's gonna do it, he can do it anyway. It's not even gonna be legal until April.
But if the committee says no, then you want to get to a legal hassle with the owner, and you might want to, you might not want to. So that's gonna be up to
Oh,
the
you
board.
said you do same thing, you've always.
Leslie Jacobs would like to say something.
Okay, Miss.
Unmute, Leslie.
I did. I would like to say that I agree with Chris that this is way too complicated to send it out now. And if one person gets away with something, shame on us. But this is way too complicated just to send it out to all the owners without a really good explanation of what they're being asked to vote on. And I think the building committee can fix this by being clearer on what they want the owners to vote on.
So we are back to this issue and I can't do anything more until Pam gets back here. But I just want you to stress the fact that you have to make a mistake. Because even if you have an owner who says they're going to do it, it's not gonna be legal until April. So they can go right ahead and do it anyway, because our documents are not going to be changed until April. I just think this is a difficult situation and we really should check it out. I mean, thoroughly test it out, maybe in a couple of weeks. There might be something and so that when we make next year after we study it, we can say, you know, we've tested it, we know, and everybody sure about what the results are going to be. So that's just my suggestion. Yes.
Kelly Rapasi would like to say something. Go ahead, Kelly. Unmute.
Hi, I was just actually today I was in Home Depot and I just wanted to put my hand up and say, with the vinyl flooring, because I'm upstairs and I was looking into what was permissible and isn't, but if someone is going to be, yeah.
Are you there, Kelly?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but I was saying, if Georgia Flooring said that they would come out and do a test for an upstairs unit with the vinyl flooring, in fact, I was looking today with my father for vinyl flooring or some type of hard flooring to put on my unit, which is upstairs. So I would like to put my hand in and you know, if anybody else was going, you know, didn't want to do that, I was seriously looking, and I was going to come to John and ask, you know, what was allowed and what wasn't, but I just wanted to make it known that
Sounds good. We have the volunteer.
I would be willing to be the test bunny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to say, for selling in Wildwood Spring too, in Spring Lakes, there's a lot of. I don't know what your situation, I don't know if you change because they're different, you know, associations, maybe increase their class. But there's a lot of it, they have no problem with it at all.
Well, we have considerable, there was an extended period of time that people were putting it in gear. You know, I've never gone in 141 upstairs to look, but I would bet there could be 30 or 40 easy.
Yeah.
Okay, Pam, you said the whole lot, excuse me.
Okay, so I don't agree.
Wasn't it?
I don't agree.
No, not yet. Okay, but-
Now, I'd like to tag on to what John said. My concern would be, John said that this gentleman's going to put it in whether we like it or not. If we delay this, my concern is that for 6 months, 8 months, or a year, what if 50 people decide that they're going to put these in, and then a year from now, we say that we really have to go through this document change. Then we got 50 more units that have already. I'm a little bit concerned about delaying a decision that might come back upon us with a lot more problems a year.
Well, I don't need to be confrontational, but I don't think that's realistic. I really don't.
Whatever the number is.
But they're doing it without approval. Correct? And you're not giving them approval.
No, we haven't been recent.
I don't know anybody. You know anybody doing it without approval?
Well, this one,
I mean, no, but
They've been very good
for
about
the
it.
past 2 years, it's been about 10 turned out.
And then we told them, because downstairs,
Well,
you
tell them.
want to piss off your neighbor, fine.
I don't know, but
this. Has this been, doesn't it have to be approved?
Yes.
And are you approving it? No.
so they're not doing it.
Well, this guy says he's doing it anyway.
That's one guy. That's
And
not
what I'm saying,
normal.
that's what I'm saying.
But he can do it no matter what, because he can choose today what I said, your timeline, remember, he can still do it, because our documents will not be changed and gone to the lawyer and go into effect until April. So he has plenty of time to do it legally, and there's nothing we can stop him.
Well, I'd like, if he's gonna do it, I want a flooring company who's gonna do it for him, show me, or
Yeah, and I
Right, just put it in
understand,
writing,
but
that it will
can't stop
establish
him right now.
with our slab, that it will make the 0.71 or
But
71.
you can't stop
Well,
him. I mean, you could by convincing him, you
doesn't,
can't stop him by saying our God. But he
well,
can
the
do it by
flooring guy that
conviction.
I have, I gotta go back. I'm gonna see if he can put it in writing or show me on paper where a 4-inch slab will never make a
Good
71.
idea.
And if he's got something in paper, then I can turn down anybody who leaves documents the way they are.
Okay, let's get back on track.
We do not have a motion on the floor.
You
We do not.
do? Okay, so. I need a motion of some kind. I think, or maybe we don't do anything, right? Just,
Or you don't.
we don't have to do anything unless somebody wants to make a motion. Other than that, we're fine. discuss it, we're just gonna spend another year, investigate it, unless you wanna make. Okay. But if you don't, we're gonna move on.
I make a motion that we table this item and put a moratorium on it for no hard floors on the second floor and for 1 year or until we can come up with a measurement item that will tell us we're getting what we want to have as far as the 71 number or whatever it is. And at that time, we will then vote on whether or not the population or our owners can vote on this going through the rules and regulation. We've got 15 directors here and none of us know what the heck the number is or what we should do about it. We've just added 30 more for each one of us. It'll be continuous confusion. So if we're gonna vote on something, we need to have them something to vote on.
John, do I,
Did you get all that?
Your second, and you want to repeat that, you make a second, you can.
do I understand that John's motion is to not send this to the owners and have a 1-year moratorium on approval of any upstairs flooring so that the situation can be monitored fully, where everybody is understandable of what the action is.
That doesn't,
That's exactly what I said.
Is that too far, John?
You did a good job there, John.
Do I have anybody that's doing that second, whatever it is? Anybody? Okay, we don't have one, so the motion doesn't go, so we're gonna move on. Sorry, John, but we'll come back.
So this is not going to be sent to the owners.
No, it's not.
Okay, so we are where we are.
We are where we are. We're going on to new business, communication, drone issue.
Okay, you all received a copy of the letter sent to the realtor who perpetrated the drone flying. I haven't had a response, but either way, but as you know, this association, when the legislature allowed the drone amendments, decided to prohibit drone flying over the community. Therefore, if it happens, we've stopped it.
Okay, can I make a comment? And just make a comment as the president today. Someday you may wish you had drones because they're very, very valuable, especially in real estate. And you're gonna find out even the electrical companies are using them to go over problem areas for electricity, et cetera, et cetera. I do not think you want drones coming over and watching, especially some of our owners playing Sunday. Too. I understand that.
I told no one.
I would strongly recommend to keep an open mind because guess what? Progress is going on. And someday you may say to yourself, you know, this drone is a pretty good thing, even if they give you notice and say unit 813 is for sale. And for the next week, Debbie's real estate company that she owns is going to be going over 813 to take pictures. So in the future, there might come a time when you kind of wish you had drones. So don't be completely closed mind to innovations and things that may be coming up in the future.
and to follow up with that, insurance companies, like prior to hurricanes, as much as I don't want a drone coming over my condo for just that reason. Drones prior to hurricane, taking pictures of your roofing and situation of your condo association. If you have damage, you can prove damage when they say, no, you don't have. It's like, yes, we have had. And here's proving that it was viable prior and not viable now. So drones aren't a bad thing. I don't want to use for my condo, but we could have like a drone day or a drone week. I know that sounds funny, but if you had like a week where anybody wanted to take pictures for insurance properties.
I'm just saying that I understand where you're coming from. You say, oh, no drones, but really, truly, folks, it's a sign of the future. They're very useful. They may have to be tamed down a little bit how you use them, but that don't discard their usefulness completely.
That's the can of worms issue.
That's what life goes on.
What I think, well, might not be useful to everybody.
May not be, but it still someday might be very useful, at least don't completely discard something that could be very useful to everybody. Yes, that's what you like.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. For real estate purposes, what's in the unit, the Zillow. The pictures of the roof.
I understand that.
It's something you can get rid of Google.
Yeah.
Google Maps. What purpose?
Yeah, so maybe we can get down to, we're gonna take you pictures of our house on Zillow and all those other places. Uh-huh. So they're taking pictures too.
But the drone was not just flying over that.
I'm not saying that, I'm not saying, I'm just
So
saying in the future, drones are very valuable in some cases. So in the future, you may want to reconsider usefulness. Okay, next thing. Oh, yes, waiting patiently for us.
Hi, I'm Sean John, Secret Plan. Your energy saving committee has been working very hard in consultation with a number of solar companies and would like to propose the installation of solar panels over the office and maintenance building. The benefits of the proposal are that it would substitute solar power for fossil fuel power. It will lead to fewer emissions, and it will also enable us in future basically to do the right thing. It's feasible. It's relatively inexpensive at this point. It would cost something like $70 per unit. That could easily be offset by a GoFundMe campaign and by voluntary contributions. Finally, the cost of electricity is going up. I'm sure that you saw in the Sarasota paper last week a report that costs are going from 101 to 121 this year. Those costs are not going down. I believe there are other intangible benefits to this proposal. And one of them is simply that we're going to have to find alternative sources of energy. I don't know whether that the proposal is to go take that to ownerships or ask the board ownership or exactly where this goes. But the payback period officially at this point is 17 years. If fuel costs go up exponentially, as who knows where fuel costs, it will be much shorter. Steve.
I know for a fact that people that have done this in the last 3 to 5 years back, the ROA is 5 to 7 years. Now that may be driven by state and your local cooperatives and everything else, but you might want to look into that. And there's avenues or whatever it seems, because it seems to have been a no-brainer for every time.
Yes.
So just my comment.
I'm trying to be conservative about that.
It is positive. Unfortunately, they've dropped condominiums out of it, and so that's the problem is we can't apply for some of those credits.
Okay.
But there's still a viable operation. I'm just saying we can't do it as quickly as other people can.
You know, there's another, remember we discussed when you would generate, when we were talking about other generate excess electricity and you would sell it back to the electric companies and then. But isn't there something that's going on with the new law that's going to hurt that happening?
Yes.
There is a proposal that law has not been passed. It's generated a lot of.
Yeah. keep an eye on that too. That's
Right.
gonna be a real bad thing.
I just don't know.
But then we decide on this, John, I'm trying to think that the person that needs to done with this, Shannon, I think that's budget meeting next year. Because it will need money, and then from there it goes forward, isn't that correct? We don't do anything at this point. No, I don't think we do anything at this.
Well, I think that if the board is somewhat interested in it, there could be a generation of like GoFundMe's or other ways, but
Oh, yeah,
you know, so,
but that still goes to the budget.
oh,
I have a couple. First of all, you listed 3 companies that you went to. Who makes their solar panels? Where are your solar panels?
Yes, two of them are made in the US, the third one we didn't know, we didn't get
Probably
response
China.
on.
The company that we were most interested in is called Solar Source, and their panels are made.
And what is, I'm not done. What is the life of the panel? I know you said that there's something else that has to be replaced every so often,
25 years.
but that other thing that has to be replaced, how often does that have to be replaced and how much does it cost you?
The converters are good for about 10 years.
And how much does it cost to replace
I
them?
don't know.
And how much,
You need to know that.
yeah, we need to know that. And we need to consider, again, I'm gonna be like the Lorax and speak the truth, but our costs personally are going up astronomically right now. Our inflation rate is worse than the 70. And many people cannot afford any more.
I appreciate that, and that's why we think that GoFundMe or a voluntary donation program would be helpful. But it's also true that once we get the hardware up, that we would avoid a lot of this, a lot of electric.
How
So-
does that work to, like, in the office, we've got the generator. That's a backup for when the power goes
I'm sure that's gas powered, right, John?
it's propane.
down. But because it's solar powered, I don't think we know enough. We're not educated enough. I don't know how those,
Oh, that would interact.
right,
Yeah.
And that would take off the electric bill of the office, right? Right. Not anything to do with the home.
which is how much.
And I think that this may be very, I know that I would be encouraged that an individual unit. Solar plant.
I don't think we can do that because of our roof.
Well,
That's up to debate right now because, and that would have to check with the attorney, but I have been told by people supposedly in the know that if they request it, we may not be able to use it, even though it's not there.
Yeah, but that hurt will only hurt their guarantee on their roof.
There's an issue even with the clubhouse because we're hoping there's a 10-year life on the roof clubhouse. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Oh, where's John West? Office. Yeah. Yeah.
What are the hours?
Where they hold the bridge party.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So at the office, we hope for a 10-year roof lasting. The panels are up there for 25 years. So, you know, there's still gonna be a cost of removing them at a time to put a roof on, put them back on. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I mean, you know, and you're not gonna amortize, 42,000 is not the end. The 42,000 is what the system costs to install. But then you've got the roofer to come in and do certain things. All this has to be looked at before it goes to the committee, goes to the budget committee. But the whole reason for being is is the board interested in pursuing? That's what the committee is asking. No, nobody's asking for a check to be written or anything right now. Many people think it's the thing to do no matter what the cost. Many people say, I'm not gonna be here in 15 years, I could care less. But, you know, I mean, there's so. You gotta-
Most of us.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, but I mean, no, that's the truth, but I mean, you know, it's the thing we have to keep looking, and I think was very foresighted by this association, just to get a committee and have people such as Shannon, and he had some very diligent work for them to come up with this, spend a lot of time.
I see no reason not to get more information. As I said, we need to better educate. We're going into this kind of blind for most. of us.
Well, nobody's asking for anything.
No, I know, I
With the
understand.
money or
that. So-
anything.
And I we should, okay, whether to give the board an update every couple of months. I mean, rather than just doing it, you know, once a year when we don't know anything, every month, or come in and tell us what you know so that we can learn.
There's a couple questions we need to ask. One, you wrote down how much of the converters are gonna be replaced.
Yeah.
Also, how much would it cost, they charge us to come in, take them down while we redo the roofs and put them all back up.
We know that, that's about 75.
You know, and the other thing is, here on the first page, you said solar is like 36,602, but
Then how many
the
years
three
it
years.
takes to
You
recruit
got
that?
estimated cost at 38,000 to 45,000, so it's not matching what you put here.
Well, we assumed some extra costs.
So you gotta give that.
Part of that additional money was the removal of the panels for the roofing, putting them back.
But you need to tell us that, because I don't know, because I just see the figures when I ask questions. But I think it's like we should really not give up, I think. Yeah. And you had a question, sorry.
It was answered, thank
Oh. Anybody else? Yes. Yeah, okay, identify yourself with.
Yes, my name is Benoit Paolini and I'm in unit 595.
Yes.
My question is this, are you talking about only solar on the roofs, or are you talking about a solar field as well?
Just on the roof.
Or either or?
Only on.
Currently, they're just talking about the office and maintenance building on the roof,
On the roof, so no solar field.
not at present.
And maybe you can also put it on the carports.
We looked at that for the pools.
Yeah.
Uh,
There was a reason we couldn't go on with that, John, I don't remember.
actually, it's where the electric hookup comes.
Yeah.
For conversational sake, pool 4, the electrical hookup for it is in front of unit 362. So you'd have to put the panels on that building, not the carport, because the cost of running on the carport down to the electrical part would almost obviate any savings in the long. So they would, each thing has to be looked at individually.
Okay? And let us know every month. Next thing
We'll
is,
take that to the budget committee and work back.
every month, let us know what you know.
Thank you.
Just, okay, the next thing is, another spring declaration. Oh, spring plan. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's fun. Spring plan. That's more of these fun things.
Several owners and the social committee chairperson has come to me and asked the board consider setting up something the April 9th.
Okay, board, how do you feel about that?
Yep.
Yep. Anybody opposed to it? Let's go. What do you think? Owners,
April
on the
9th?
spring plan?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. We need one. Good for everybody. Great.
Leslie, be sure tell Jack.
Okay, the next thing up, mending articles again. In our declaration, we have that you can't have trucks. Now, it's been brought up that some owners would like to have trucks, and some trucks cost a heck of a lot more than even cars. So, there's been, if we do this, it has to go to the residents, because that's changing, once again, our document. So some of the things that has to be is like, and I know John came up with this clear, but it would be, the trucks or the vehicles, we'll call them, can't have any advertising or promotional information or symbols or materials or flags or anything on them. They're just, regular vehicles. No double wheels, no exterior platforms or racks. They must have a permanently covered bed, no tires over 24 inches. So they would look like, I don't know much about trucks, but I just see them all over the place, and some of them are very elegant vehicles. And so if we're gonna do this, that's the board will discuss it to some degree, I imagine, and decide whether or not we want to. This is another one of those items that I have to tell you, at least since I've been here at Wildewood Springs, come back to the board every couple of years. And we have trouble.
Go in the drain.
And it goes again back to the board, and the board says, no, and it's done. And then a couple of years later, comes back to the board again. So we're back to the same thing, saying, well, maybe we should take it to the owners now. Identify what type of vehicles they would consider acceptable, and let the owners decide. So open for discussion. So first of all, this is important to whether we should, and then I'll get to the board.
Well, for my own education purposes, why would
Speak up.
why would one have a pickup truck that for residential purposes? I mean, I mean, truly for my own education purposes.
Well, we don't want that.
I mean, I feel like we should provide like people who have pickup trucks, and that maybe there's information out there. I'm just curious.
No, we're saying we don't want that.
I know we don't want that, but I don't. want That it would be pickup trucks, for residential purposes. Just because it has an open bed. What is it about that? Make it, we have a rule that says you can't park that.
And wants to answer. I don't want to answer that. And wants to answer that.
They still, I don't even. If you have a neighbor who has a truck and they have an open bed.
Yes, you
And they
do.
decide they want to go fishing on a Friday afternoon, and they leave a Home Depot bucket full of fish cuts in their trucks Saturday morning, and it's 90 degrees out, and that goes right in your air conditioning, and it's in your house, because they have it in the open bed. Fish cuts, or or dirty laundry, or I don't know, cat litter. But let me tell you, there's a lot of things that can be in the back of the truck, because I have neighbors who actually have friends who brought their trucks over and then you can sell it. And that's just the covered bed situation. I can talk about noisy mufflers, duct tape on the mufflers, bungee cords on the mufflers, gas fumes on the diesel. I can go on for a couple more hours on that. And that's my story.
Anybody else on the board? Want to open up? Yes?
I think, unfortunately, all of the things that Tim is saying are true. People can be sloppy. But trucks today have become luxury items. Many people, they have replaced their cars. These four-door luxury pickup trucks, they come with the covers on. All of these requirements that are being talked about are in order to keep the aesthetics of Wildewood Springs intact by making sure that there aren't trucks with dirty laundry in the bed, or tools, or whatever there might be. But there are so many more trucks being sold today than cars that we just think it's time that the board gives the opportunity to the residents on having a pickup truck that meets all of these restrictions that make it more likely.
And remember, we are talking about vehicles now that don't have any businesses on them, and they don't have flags on them or anything. They don't have double wheels. They don't have racks or platforms. They have a covered bed. They don't have tires over 24 inches. I mean, those are the requirements that we are talking about. on these type of vehicles. We're not talking about any other type. Yes, right.
So, I mean, I covered that when it solves the snow problem. Yeah. Oh, is that good? I asked you. Okay, I'll move on. What about the diesel? We mentioned the diesel. So all pickup trucks have diesel.
Yeah.
So
Yes, Judge.
We really should have a motion on the floor for this discussion.
All right, I'll make a motion.
Then you can talk about
Okay, then
anything
we
you
do
want.
it. Okay, that's great.
So there's a motion on the floor to send it to the owner for vote.
Oh,
Is there a second?
Sorry.
All right, now you can talk about,
okay,
say,
now.
and add all education you want.
Okay.
You need to repeat over.
No, that's what we.
No.
Okay.
So the question was,
what about
diesels?
Most of the trucks that's on the market, they have four. A
Yeah.
lot of them, like the Chevy Avalanche, and every Honda has them, they have a short 4-foot box, which is useless to haul anything. You know, you might put more stuff in your van. Besides that, most of our owners probably drive a truck anyhow, technically by themselves. Because all the SUVs are considered trucks. I mean, I know they're covered maybe by Suburban, which is a truck, you know, but it's got wheels, glass one. If somebody has a covered box and or they have a shell over the back end, it would be, of course, it's temporary, it's movable, but it's not much different than having something permanent. But most people that buy them don't just take it on and off, because it's not that easy to take on. And like you said, most of them are luxury vehicles, you know, you're pushing $70,000-$80,000.
And more than for a lot of ours.
You know. I mean, Ford doesn't even make the part. So SUVs, you know, most of the manufacturers, if you want a car today, you have to go in. You can't buy an American made car because they don't make it. They're all SUVs or trucks. You know, and there's a lot of people out there that are a little, I've had people in my thing talk to me or send me emails saying, you know, hey, I've got this Chevy Avalanche, which like I said, doesn't do anything to haul anything, but yet I'm not allowed to leave it here overnight because it's considered. And they're not too happy. I think we ought to send it to the voters and let them make a decision.
Does it just?
Oh, we already did.
Have another question here? Okay, yes.
Okay, this is another one that keeps circling the drain. What in a few years is going to hold up the restrictions you're putting on it? And you can't have signs on the side. If you have trucks, then you can have whatever. Uncovered beds, 20 whatever size wheels, advertising for your company, political signs and flags. It's the same, you're opening can of worms.
Well, it could be in the documents.
Well, no, because you can ask for it.
I'm sorry.
I got my heart out.
Sorry.
Exactly what she said. People are going to extend what the documents say. And depending on who the manager is or who the board is, they're gonna say, that's a cool thing. We'll just let that go. I saw a truck today and it was a truck, but it was a little truck, a little vehicle. But the cab was red and the bed was black. And there were dings and scratches and rust. And I realize it's a working truck. But how long before somebody who owns one here allows it to be? We don't allow vehicles that look like garbage here. Yet I see them. Some cars look like that. Well, I said we don't allow vehicles here that look like that. But yet I see them.
We have what your cars look like.
Yeah, we're not supposed to have junk cars here. It's somewhere.
Isn't it kind of personal little junk cars?
No, not necessarily. You could go look at that truck I was talking about today.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
There are cars that are here that don't, work. They're just sitting, they're pieces of junk.
Oh,
I've not seen them.
Well, come to my question.
Maria?
Yes,
Oh, hello.
Monica.
Yes, you did.
Describing an ugly little truck. It's allowed to park until 11 o'clock. It gets dark at 11 and it can leave. It can come back at 6:30 in the morning. So I
don't know what that means. MRC.
I mean, you can be sitting there for 11 o'clock.
That's right.
Well, they used to, in fact, I don't know if they do anymore, but security used to put a sign on them, and then they would, after so many, they would go away. I don't know if they still do that or not.
Yeah, anything after 11 o'clock gets.
So that's what
But
they
I'm
used
saying it's starting at 11, who cares?
to do. They get to enforce that, they used to. Yes, that's for them.
John West wants to speak. John?
I think we need to take a look at why we did this in the first place. Our area is not built for trucks. It's not built to park trucks. And it doesn't have any place to put trucks. If we do put a truck in this area, who's going to be the truck police? You go into a whole different element of areas of diesels, which we don't have diesel cars, bigger trucks, louder trucks, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why trucks were cut off as a unit that could not and does not belong in Wildwood. So I would say that the issue of putting a truck in, whether it's got a bed on the back or doesn't have double wheels, puts a much bigger vehicle on our streets and in our parking.
Yes, I remember you, Maria.
Okay. Thank you, John. Any other comments?
No, it was last week.
There's a Bob. Bob, would you identify yourself and your unit?
Okay.
Patricia Trinan, we're on an end unit and, we have, next to where we park, there's 2 spots.
I think that was Bob.
A lot of the time, those are occupied by trucks that back in. They're big, they're tall, they're taller than any of the vehicles that we've got there. And the owners, because we do get down to minus 37 degrees, go out, start those vehicles and let them run for 15 minutes to 20 minutes before they even get into them to take them away. And so noise becomes an issue, the height becomes an issue. And the space, as John is identifying, those parking spots are not made for trucks.
Thank you. Yes.
Kathy.
Hold on, Bob.
Okay.
Kathy 206. I have a son that lives on the other side of the water. Comes to visit, it's a red pickup truck, open back, an older truck. One time it was taken away. And we never figured out why. But he can stay for 2 nights, and I always come very regularly and get the permission slip. But it does have an open back. Now, how can you stop that just because the back is open? The truck fits nicely in the places just to park. You know, you're talking about newer vehicles, of course, that are much more. Have a lot more stuff. I would hate to have to tell you, you can't come here to see me anymore because you've got a truck and it will not be what will be approved. Understand? But you do get the permission. Yes, I come and get the permission, and even the night that they took it away, the car was there, yeah, right, and everything was fine, but the truck was gone. And that's that company.
Yes.
I'm assuming we're talking about sending this proposal to the membership. Yeah. I agree with Monica. They have to be off at 11 and they can come back at 6. So they can park here till 11 o'clock at night. What is the difference if they're here overnight? Which is basically what it's going to be. And as far as huge trucks, I don't think that our population is into these huge, tremendous trucks. We have no control over contractors or anything like that. But I think that the membership as a whole is entitled to vote on this issue.
Steve 705, that's a great segue, because I know where this issue is started. And I know the people that are violators, and both of them in the last 2 years come from more than 2,000 miles away north. And they were not advised by their landlord. The owner was renting it, that they can't have a pickup. Right, fact. So it's the owners who are renting these out that have the guests coming in with pickups coming from over 2,000 miles away, all Texas, that is triggering this recycling every year or whatever. I'm blaming the guests indirectly, but it's their innocent. It's really the owners that are not educated when they're putting their contract out.
The right amount, not.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Steve?
My opinion on it, well, I know we're gonna vote on that, so if we're opening Pandora's box, even with the restriction, the only thing that an owner is gonna read, oh, accepted pickups. Next line, and I'm gonna read, and then we're gonna have these, have them come 2,000 miles away, and say, well, the guy told me you could take trucks. I didn't know, it's got a sign on the side,
Well, and that's good. People just. They just.
What
Take a mile.
Take
A mile, they take.
Sue, I have an owner here. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. First, I wanted to say, despite all the hard work and everything you do to get this projected out for all of us that can't make it to the meeting today, I've had an awful hard time hearing everybody. I can hear you clear as a bell. I can hear John. Well, actually, both Johns clear as a bell, but everybody else is muffled. I can't hear hardly anything anybody's saying. So where I'm on this with this, from what I heard, didn't we already just take a vote on this in the past year about allowing trucks and what have you here? I think we did. I mean, the population as a whole.
Never since I've been.
Yeah, I don't think it was voted on by the board. And it's really something that has to go probably to the owners to make a big change in it.
Well, no, we just did that. We already did that. We already did it like about in the past year. It all went out to the owners and they turned it down.
I don't believe the owners voted on it, Bob.
I think so.
And it's our responsibility.
There has not been a proposed amendment in the 7 years I've been here.
No, that's not been voted.
No, not by the owners, but the board.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were
Okay,
Chris.
all right, so we have a motion right now.
Yeah, it's,
We have a motion right now to send the,
yeah.
what was it exactly?
Okay, let me,
I thought that's what.
The motion to what?
well, I got it.
What was it?
Send Article 11.11, paragraph 2 of the declaration to allow pickup trucks to be owners for a vote.
Right, and we had it seconded by
Shannon.
Shannon.
By Shannon. Good. Okay, so we have a vote, we have a second, we had discussion. So at this point, and it's up to the board, or they're not going to send this to the owners or not. Everybody.
I would have a
No,
roll
no,
call.
no, I'm just.
Roll
We'll take a roll, Or reach out.
Cookie fish. Send it to the owners. Roger?
Yes.
I say no. Shannon?
Yes.
Steve?
Nope.
Dick?
Yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
You say yes.
Yes.
Monica? Yes. Claire?
Yes.
Tammy?
No.
Debbie? Barbara? Yes. Sue?
Yes.
John West?
John,
West.
unmute yourself.
Now
Yes, or
I
no, John?
Oh,
John said no.
Okay, vote is yes.
Yes,
That's 8-5,
I have 10 to 1.
and the
So the vote is that it will be sent to the owners, they will make a decision whether or not to allow it. But I hope that you will put on there when we do that, John, what kind of truck.
Well, I'm gonna have to get, go to the attorney now